All right. Welcome to the latest episode of the Colman Power Organic Fitness Podcast, where we talk about all things health, foods, exercise, anything that literally benefits you on a regular basis. So this week's is a solo episode with myself, touching on the likes of questions that I pulled from my social media platforms. That's Colman Power Organic Fitness on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. And if you want your question and your name shout out, most certainly hit me up on Instagram. It's probably the best place to get me because I can send you a voice note directly back. So straight away off the bat, we are going to run through the likes of the questions in this week's podcast. So foods to reduce cholesterol. Okay, that came in from the likes of Anonymous on TikTok. Then we go straight away over to foods for aiding in eczema. And I wrote this name down. That I'm going to say maybe we'll spell it. Or sorry, say it. It is S-C-I-K Urtis. Skidurtis. That's also from TikTok. And I asked that individual to leave their name, but it didn't reply back. But nonetheless, solid question. Don't make the likes of this week's episode. Then we go into, I suppose, the final question is how I got into health and fitness. So that came in again from someone I'm currently training online on the program. So we'll go straight back up to the top. The three classic questions, 30 minutes of little but fact-filled fun for everyone. So foods to reduce cholesterol. So the first of which I highly recommend people to add to their diet is the likes of oats. They are something that can reduce your cholesterol, but not only that, they're a complex carbohydrate. These are simple food to add into your diet, whatever, I suppose, fitness level you currently have, or whether you have high cholesterol or not. They're a slow release of energy. They are something you can make and have a delicious breakfast in the morning. Typically, steeping them is going to be aid in digestion, which also is something I want to touch on. The likes of, just because one food item is good for cholesterol, it has so many other different benefits. And that's the main advantage of, I suppose, just cleaning up your diet. As a personal trainer, as an organic grower, it is so key for people to realize that the fact that you need to start sticking to more single ingredient foods that are most certainly are organic. Oats being something that are heavily sprayed, okay, on a regular basis. So that means the fact that they use glyphosate or Roundup, and that has negative effects on your gut health, killing your beneficial gut microorganisms. So why they do that in organic practices is the fact that it speeds up the ripening process. So if you have a field of, we'll say, wheat or oats, as a result of that, you spray it all off and it's all be able to harvest it at the one time, as opposed to leaving it just down to the sun. You're determined and waiting for a particular type of weather, which can, I suppose, slow the process down. And that is, I suppose, the first of the foods that I highly recommend you to add to your diet. I recommend organic oats. Flavins is the ones that I currently use. Flavins, where are you? Come on. And plus, I'm from the same town where they're made in Waterford. Living here in Cork at the minute. As I drink my clove and parsley tea. Love that too. Next whole food item that I do recommend is whole grains. Okay, whole grains are absolutely super for the fact that they do contain, I suppose, an fiber, and it's fermented. So those things are something that can reduce your cholesterol. And it's the second food item on the list that I do encourage you to add to your diet. Okay, fermented foods are beneficial, again, for naturally increasing the likes of your gut bacteria. It's so important to realize gut health is linked with increased immune system, increased energy levels, and as a result of that, in this case, it also helps reduce down your cholesterol. And I suppose when I was going through, I suppose, this fitness phase of cutting out foods to realize how could I possibly improve my health, bread was one of the first things, but now is one of the, I suppose, things that I recommend to people, just because of the major benefits of whole grains. And if you are consuming, which I used to do, white sliced pan bread, you need to immediately take it out and replace it. Okay, the idea that sourdough bread is something that you can most certainly make on your own, not something that I have currently done. But those of you better in the kitchen than I am, I do encourage you to do that. And I most certainly was before COVID hit. We're going to a course in Ballymaloo, that is in East Cork, to learn how to do it. And I'm actually, now that I reminded myself, I must double check up on how that actually went. Might be going, in the near future. Stay tuned for that. Definitely make a podcast with them, Ballymaloo. Call me. And okay, the third item in which to add to your diet to reduce your cholesterol is Brazil nuts. So Brazil nuts are and do contain healthy fats, but also the fiber. Fiber is key, I suppose, for what it does, such as all the other items I'm going to list right here, right now. It pulls out toxins, excess amount of toxins in your body. And not only that, it's feeding your beneficial gut microorganisms, as we already typically know if you're a regular listener to this podcast, but it also keeps you fuller for longer. This is key point number one. Going into 2021, if you want to feel satiated, okay, go with more fiber in your diet. Where is fiber found? In all different fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains. Yes, oh yay. And I'm looking forward now to the sun as it comes up, as we, I suppose, come into the likes of the important things that I really do enjoy, which is sunrise and sunsets. And next, and not only with the likes of that Brazil nuts improving your, suppose, blood cholesterol, it is most certainly something that naturally contains selenium. Selenium is good for your thyroid function. Having a low thyroid has kind of major effects on people and preventing them from losing weight. So if you want to not only, I suppose, again, improve your diet for, I suppose, optimal health, you want to lose, I suppose, some body fat, I definitely recommend you to consume Brazil nuts. Okay, it's been scientifically proven that consuming 4 Brazil nuts a month can reduce down your cholesterol levels. So literally, just like a tablet, because what? Food is medicine. The more people realize that, the better. And when I suppose first started my fitness journey, it was, people were mentioning, oh yes, protein is really good for you. Oh, B vitamins are really good. Oh, selenium is good. Oh, iron is good. Oh, zinc is good. I went straight over to, I suppose, documents, because I was having to study in University College Cork, and they were recommending people to go back to, I suppose, Whole Foods. No, recommending people to study peer-reviewed documents, and I went straight to that to find out what foods contain these. With the likes of selenium, not only, I suppose, found in Brazil nuts, it's really important to remember it's also found in fish. If you don't eat fish, stick to Brazil nuts. And fish that I do recommend, now that I most certainly am ambassador for 2022, is Shines. If I had a tin here in front of me, it's in the kitchen, it would be really great. I would show you this in the tin. So fish is a complete protein that you can add to your diet that is something that repairs muscle fibers. It is something, again, that reduces cravings, and it's good for your skin health. Lads, eat fish and eat Shines. Available on Shine's website. I'm sure I have a discount code, but that's the way I am right now. I currently don't have it to hand. I'm sure it might be Colman 15. We'll take a guess and take a stab at that. But stay tuned. I'll have it in the show notes, 100%. Or else I put it here. I'll put it here on YouTube, right? It's going to be there. You'll see an image here on the right hand side. That's where it's at. That's a discount code. Okay. Shines. They most certainly contain healthy fats, which are great. And I'm going to be touching on those very, very soon. So the next thing I recommend are beans. Okay. Beans such as black beans, which are high in antioxidants, and most certainly the likes of fiber. All the time, these food items are something that are going to increase the amount of different types of fiber in your diet. Soluble and insoluble fiber, both found in beans. Okay, and that again is the 4th item on the list here of foods to reduce your cholesterol. My preference would be kidney beans and black beans, but also most certainly chickpeas would also fit into that category to add to your diet. And with both kidney beans, the reason why I have those and the likes of the black beans is they have high protein content for plant-based protein sources if you are a vegan or vegetarian. Next one is soya. Soya. I feel like I should say soya is most certainly a complete protein. It's comparable with meat sources. So for, I suppose, those people that listen, are regular listeners to the show, it's something that I do have in my diet. And for people that, I suppose, don't eat meat sources or a lot of it, it's definitely something you have to add into your diet and before the likes of supplements, because that is the definition of a supplement, to supplement what you cannot get from your diet. So complete protein sources that I do recommend would be tofu and tempeh, most certainly organic. Why? Because they don't contain GMO, and GMOs seeds are able to tolerate, which is genetically modified GMO organisms. It's something that can tolerate glyphosate or harsh chemicals. So just take, for example, we have seeds or plants in a field that are separated out for ease in harvesting, and the likes of the sprays go in across these plants as the tractor drives over them. The seeds, such as the ones planted that are genetically modified, will be able to tolerate the likes of the glyphosate. They'll stay alive. But the smaller in between spaces where the likes of small incremental weeds are located, they die off. And that's something that is not allowed in organic growing. So most certainly it will eliminate the likes of glyphosate and harsh chemicals in your diet. It's a reduction of these. For optimal health, I do recommend people to consume most certainly organic soya and the likes of organic tempeh. Tempeh is actually higher protein content and it's fermented, so again, it's good for gut health. That's my gut health guru here, actually going for the win. And those are topics in the likes of the book that's coming out as well. I'm so excited for that. Won't say any more. Next thing I most certainly must recommend for reducing cholesterol and improving your overall health is adding in fruits and berries such as apples and red currants and black currants. Okay, it's the pectin that is found, the fiber, particular fiber found in these food items that you can gain the advantage of pulling it, again, as I mentioned, pulling or attaching to toxins and coming out in your waste that end up in the toilet and out the gap it goes. So that's the main advantage of, I suppose, all those different food items. And other things that are really going to help, I suppose, with reducing down your cholesterol is foods that are high in omega-3. Remember that dark leafy greens and organic produce has higher omega-3s. So if you're consuming vegetables such as that are in season, kale, spinach, rocket, arugula, mincuna, tatsoi, mixed salad greens, okay, that I am showing people how to grow. I am growing myself. I'm selling to local farmers markets. I'm going to health food stores and shops and local centres. I wish I knew the centre logo or the catchphrase right now. Every little helps. No, that's not it. I'm loving it. It's also not that either. So for real day shopping? No, I don't know what that is. Anyway, centre, local. Go to local stores. And if you're looking to, suppose, where's the best place to get produce for yourself to improve your health, it's at country markets if you're not growing it yourself. But I highly recommend you to, I suppose, get the best food you possibly can to improve your overall diet. And it's not that every food item has to be organic. It's an improvement of adding in more organic foods to your diet, okay? Because the more of these foods that you eat, and including the likes of omega-3, that improves your blood flow, that is actually going to reduce down your cholesterol as well. And anything else that has the same benefits, such as exercise, such as cold water exposure, grounding, the likes of saunas or sea swims, all those things I recommend and have, I suppose, on the Organic Fitness Retreat and people on the Organic Fitness program. The things that I recommend are the things that I do. You'll see them on social media. I put them out every week, and as much as I possibly can. I'm putting out 3 posts a day, and I'm putting out stories, and I'm putting out podcasts, and I'm putting out YouTubes. And I'm trying to connect with, this is my goal for 2022, to connect with as many people as I possibly can to improve their health, because it's really, I suppose, the realization that if you want to be happier, it's about being healthier. And that starts from the moment you get up, doing the likes of whatever needs to be done, focusing in on a power hour, really, really important. Okay, it's not all about like weight loss, but for the most part, that's a goal that people strive for, and inclusive of myself previously. But right now, I'm, I suppose, on a different fitness journey to others, but I'm helping people shorten their learner curves, giving them tips and strategies to help them, I suppose, lose weight, using training, using, I suppose, food as medicine to improve their overall health. Because the more you realize that every vitamin and mineral comes from whole foods, and nature has designed foods to come into season for a reason, and the likes of exercise and natural things such as grounding and swimming and sunlight are really important for your health. And yet we've come from a world and live in a world now that we go from the likes of your warm bed to your literally warm kitchen floor to a cup of coffee in a car, that then we end up in an office that is air conditioned and cooled and heated, to, I suppose, ambient temperature, and then we come back into the house and we'll never put ourselves under any stress, and we're eating highly processed foods that contain sugar and that are marketed with lovely colors and saying even the words organic on it. That's not health. Health is really, really key for you to understand that it comes from nature, and the closer you get to it, the better. That's definitely a line I'm going to be using somewhere else. Nature is closer. I'm glad I recorded this. So next thing I'm going to touch on is the likes of foods for eczema. Eczema, and people that suffer with it, it's important to remember it's an autoimmune disease. And I used to suffer with the likes of eczema. I used to have it on the backs of my hands and the backs of my legs in excessive amounts. And that was due down to the foods that I was currently eating. And my diet is completely different to what it was 10 years ago, and most certainly what it was definitely 20 years ago. And when you're looking to improve your skin health and you're from autoimmune diseases, I highly recommend you to add in prebiotics and probiotics. So the first thing is prebiotics are things that are like coming from vegetables. These feed the beneficial microorganisms in your gut. So these are all different fruits and vegetables. Okay, highly prebiotic food items that I do recommend will be onions, garlic, and leeks. Then you have Jerusalem artichokes and yacon. Yacon is in season. If those of you based down in Cork, I most certainly will be doing talks and events such as the Grow Your Own foodification. I'm currently going around to schools, and then following that, then if you're going and you are in the Cork City area, go to the shop, Cork Rooftop Garden, run by Brian McCarthy, who I also had on the podcast. Good man, good friend of mine now. We're on, I suppose, a journey getting people to improve their diet, getting the best type of foods they possibly can. And Brian's doing a great job up there. And can I shout out to Brian, Team Bro, Bro Organic Fitness Love. That's what that's going at. And that's really a place where you can most certainly source them. And after that, you can contact me in relation to the yacon, and I will most certainly hook you up with a growth spurt, which is needed to grow the likes of your own in your backyard. So you're currently settled right now in a house and you have a family, or you live on your own, or you have a partner. I recommend you growing Jerusalem artichoke and yacon. They are the easiest crops to grow. They're no fail because the slugs don't even eat them. So that's one of the main reasons why people don't do a little bit of their growing. There's very little effort involved. Once you have a clear patch of ground and you can get your hands on a yacon chew and a yacon growth spurt, because with potatoes, and they're similar to yacon, they don't grow from the tuber. So that means like once you get a potato, you can grow numerous potatoes. But with a yacon, if you get a yacon, you eat the yacon and that's it. You need literally the spurt. So the spurt is, suppose, is the growth nodule on the end of the likes of the stem. So there's your plant, there's a leaf out left and right, nodule right at the end, right at the tip. And on each plant you have 4. So I'm certainly hooking people up with that. They either come to the events that I'm doing in the near future, with the next retreat on the 18th of February, which is coming up very, very soon. If you want to book into that, get on it, because spaces are limited. Just do the beds, not because it's a marketing ploy. That's it. There are no more beds. You can't sleep on the floor. Well, you could, but there are day visits, and I suppose one night if you don't want to do the Friday and the Saturday. But the whole weekend, I do highly recommend it to individuals that and have seen it advertised. I'm going to make a video later on today because it's on to-do list here as well. So then the likes of other foods I recommend, I said that those are prebiotics. So probiotic foods. So probiotic foods I do recommend for people to add into their diet would most certainly be, okay, the likes of fermented foods, and that would include kefir and kombucha. Kefir can either come from water or can come from dairy products. Depending if you can tolerate the lactose in the dairy, it's something to add to your diet. Okay, if you're not currently consuming the likes of dairy, you can most certainly get a fermented drink, such also related to coconut. Coconut milk. Do I have it in the fridge? I can't exactly run to the fridge right now, but there is an organic brand that you can get at your health food stores. Holland and Barrett also do a number of drinks that can be shipped to your door. People don't want to do shopping directly in the shops anymore. You can get it sent and safe and sound to your front or back door, depending on where your postman or postwoman comes to. So prebiotic foods that I also recommend would be the likes of miso. Miso is something that I spread on my breads typically instead of butter. I am not, I suppose, anti-butter. It's just that what you gain the advantage of when you get the likes of your miso is something that's fermented. Fermented foods are key for, I suppose, improving your gut lining. Those things are really important for improving your, I suppose, immune system and reducing leaky gut, which is one of the main reasons why people have the likes of this rashes such as eczema on their arms. So improving your diet literally improves your overall health, inclusive of your skin. And so when you start improving your gut health with these pre and probiotics, you most certainly will see an added advantage of the likes of your reduction in your rashes, but also your skin complexion. Your skin being one of the first things that people look at. I highly recommend people to, I suppose, choose the foods that benefit you, and those pre and probiotics most certainly will improve your overall skin health. That is something that has been proven, and something that I suppose anecdotally myself and scientifically. So, and the last question we're hitting up here is, how did I get into health and fitness? So I suppose my fitness journey is how I started off would have been from a GAA background, playing for a small club based in Waterford, Ballyduff Lower, living in Kilmeaden up until the age of 24. I have a younger brother and I have an older sister. As we grew up, I suppose we would have been put in every sport and activity that there ever was. We started off, I suppose, at a younger age, gymnastics before even GAA, and then you kind of had to pick. But not, it was on the same time, but I had to pick, so I ended up picking the GAA because trying to be, I suppose, as fit as I possibly could, and following the crowd is what I previously done in the past, and I suppose that's kind of something that I've completely changed as well. And then from that, going from then GAA to going to study horticulture, all the time being interested and influenced by, I suppose, social media and the things that we consume, I ended up getting into a little bit of bodybuilding, which I have a full episode on and didn't really enjoy, because ended up realizing that being judged by somebody else on how healthy I was just because how I looked, and health shouldn't be deemed in just either your dress size or the fact that how much percentage of body fat you have on your current frame. It's more so, I suppose, the whole holistic approach of your health, your wealth, your love, and your fulfillment. And I realized that pretty quick when I went up on a stage wearing my father's Speedos and got rated 4 out of 10. And I said, I'll have enough of that, and decided to go down a different route. I then moved to Australia, immigrated, and had a great time out there. There was some unhealthy times out there, but it was a massive learning curve. I drank in excessive amounts, again, just with the crowd I was in and working on building sites. At the time, it was something that was the norm, but just because something is the norm doesn't mean it should be done. So I wasn't trying to then be my healthiest. I decided to, long story short, come home, but definitely you should listen to the first episode of the podcast that I ever did. The long story short there, went to Thailand and ended up not getting the visa, coming home at a quicker rate than I otherwise would have thought I'd been. Came home and surprised everybody, coming down from Dublin like a homeless man, because I only had some clothes that would have been suited to the likes of Thailand. And yeah, so that was the surprise part. What ended up happening then was, I suppose, meeting somebody that that is the alarm for podcast. Meeting somebody who I had studied with in college. He was my mentor. It was Klaus Leitenberg, who taught me how to grow. And this is the first thing he actually said to me. He says, he's German, okay? So he says, Colman, how are you? I said, good. And he says, do you have a girlfriend? And I said, no. And he said, I said straight away back to him, I said, why, do you have a girlfriend for me? And he says, no, but I might have a job for you. And I said, oh, great. I'll have to work on the girlfriend myself. And I'm still currently working on that. But so I ended up, I suppose, going down the route of growing my own vegetables, and then doing a personal training course online. And what I ended up doing then was kind of amalgamating the two together. Why? Because you cannot out-train a bad diet. And then the organic fitness program was kind of initiated off the back of that, and getting people that I have trained and to either consume organic vegetables that I grow, or that they can get their hands on at country markets in the world, throughout the world, because I train currently people in America, the UK, Scotland, the likes of Canada and Australia, as well as Ireland. So the idea of that really was something that all came through from people and mentors and coaches that I met along the way, because you're not who you are, I suppose, just because you decided it. You're actually majorly influenced by people you come into contact with. And sometimes you're influenced by people's actions, not to do what they do, but more so to not do what they do. I hung around with a lot of people who were quite negative growing up towards me and towards others. And the fact that I wasn't Mr. Popular and still neither am. I wasn't Mr. Get All the Girls and still neither am. And I definitely wasn't Mr. Fitness. And again, in my own realization, I still am. And you're working for an improvement on what you have. And that's what I'm a major believer in. There's no such thing as perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be your best. You need to just improve by 1%. And that's the realization you need to, and I have picked up along the way from mentors and coaches that have helped me to get where I am here today. And that's what you need to do. Put into practice one thing you either listen to from this podcast or from somebody else today. And last important point is to make sure that you take information from people that you would trade places with. Don't take information from Sally down the road who says that keto diets are great, or that there's no difference between organic and conventionally grown foods. Make sure that you're getting the right type of information from the right type of people. All right, can I end it there? Can I? Metaphorically, make sure you're healthy. Stay healthy. Stay healthy as food going into 2022. All right, lads. That's this week's episode of the Colman Organic Fitness Podcast. Things coming up are the Organic Fitness Retreat, taking on clients for the Organic Fitness Program, improving your diet, exercise, and overall health. With the sun coming up right now, it is time for me to get out, and I recommend you, wherever you are right now, to get in some steps. Steps are key. 10,000. Look at your watch. Download an app on your phone. If you don't, I don't even have a watch anymore. So keep it active. And as I always end these shows, stay tuned, stay classy, and keep it organic.